Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Win streak of 2. Don't even get me started on a win streak of 2, man. I could have sworn. Am I losing my mind? I thought for sure we did a Kane greed run. I might be mistaken. Oh yeah, I was gonna do the greed run, but then I did the hard run by accident, and okay, now it's all coming clear. You gotta cut me some slack here. I record a lot of videos, I do a lot of streams. Sometimes I finish my Tuesday stuff, and I go stream on Wednesday, and people are like, hey, remember this thing that happened on Monday? And I go, yeah, that happened on Monday. Monday back in March 2016, and they're like, nah, that was 2 days ago. Basically, I talk too much. G2YY7FKM. A little bit of a shot speed upgrade. Obviously, the health is ancillary here. We don't really care about it. Mostly, we're in it for the shot speed, the juiciest of all statistics. The shot speed, the mojo that gets the people to go. And 5 extra bombs. Well, typically, I would look at the... I mean, this run is totally fine to start with. You know, the extra HP, obviously, I was being facetious. The extra HP is worth something. You know, mostly deal with the devil fuel, hopefully, but... You know, we are playing easy mode, more or less. So, starting with 10 rate of fire, 4.2 damage, I mean, you gotta be honest, is better than, like, your average Eden start. Thoughts arrive like butterflies, so I'm not gonna complain too much. We got a red poop here. You know Ludacris's album, The Red Light District? Oh, you weren't born between 1986 and 2004? You may not know the album then. Ludacris is now an actor known by the name of Chris Bridges, in a long line of famous Hollywood Bridges, Jeff, Lloyd, Bo, and now Christopher. He does these movies called The Fast and the Furious. They're foreign films, you might not be aware of them. Get nominated for tons of Teen Choice Awards every single year. Anyway, they steal a lot of cars in the movie, and now there's like some spy stuff. And anyway, before that, believe it or not, he was a rapper of the hip-hop variety who had quote-unquote hoes in different area codes. Anyway, the whole point is, what if instead of being called The Red Light District, his album was called The Red Poop District? Probably wouldn't have sold as many copies, huh? Okay, that's not a great start. Let's restart this one. My whole... Christopher got me distracted there. It's what he does best. I was like, let's not pop the Hierophant. Let's make sure we use it for the most appropriate conceivable fashion later. That was not a smart idea. I should have popped the Hierophant. We would have been substantially better off. Okay, I got an idea. I am going to place a Bomber Boy bomb here. I thought that might give us a secret room. It did not, but it did pay for more than 5 cents worth of items. Few cents worth of, like, literal pennies, and then also a key, which we would have had to buy at the end of this floor or the start of the next one anyway. So I actually really like the idea of having a death card early on. Pretty much, like, negates the chance of what happened to us on the last run happening again. So if enemies live too long, and, you know, we stack up too many of them for us to focus on, that's totally fine. I have to point out, you know, in the personal life, my bachelor days are over. My 10 days of bachelor living. I've come to a conclusion. I picked my wife up at the airport yesterday. Back to, honestly, like, more exciting. Like, I remember I saw a post on Reddit, like, I think it was, like, last year when Kate went to Japan. And it was this dude that was, like, you know, approaching day 8 of my wife being gone on a business trip. And it was, like, him unshaven in a bathrobe, like halfway through a case of Keystone Light. That's not what my bachelor life was like. I was describing it to Kate. And it was like being in a good jail. Not a jail, let me be clear. Not a jail you prefer to life on the outside. But it was like being in a jail where, you know, like you can move around. You know, the food's good. Your job's nice. You're not pressing license plates or whatever. But then beyond that, you know, I pretty much just... It was like being in a Norwegian jail. I sat inside all day. I did my work. I played an EA Sports video game more than I should, but apart from, and I went to class, I did my assignments, I did my homework, etc., etc., but apart from that, it was, you know, pretty much, life with a very basic routine. I'm very happy to have my wife back. She's the more spontaneous of the two of us. Leads to situations where, you know, we go on little adventures instead of me just being like, well, I hope you had fun in Tokyo. Wait until I regale you with my story about how little money I spent on groceries when you were gone. Tomo, I will free you from this room, okay? But first, you have to understand, I have an obligation to not take much more damage here. I swear to you, my son, you will be freed. I know he's looking at me like, am I going to spend the rest of my life in this office? I mean, you scratched to get in here. And now you're scratching to get out. Really makes you think. So yeah, I'm living a, you know, I'm back on my normal BS. Hopefully that should lead to a more anecdote-rich life. For example, I mean, we went to the grocery store yesterday. Already got a couple of anecdotes, I should say. What's one anecdote? Hold on, let me remove Tomo. There we go. Not remove Tomo, that sounds menacing. Well, I mean, I've got some very inert grocery store anecdotes, but that doesn't mean they're any, that doesn't mean that they're bad, I should say. We went to the grocery store last night. There's something very strange about going to a Whole Foods. If you have never been, it's like the most expensive grocery store on planet Earth. Apples are $100 each. Now, they taste better than a 65-cent apple. Do they taste 130 times better? No. But, you know, smoke them if you got them. I don't think that's the expression you use there. Anyway, the point is, the expression is never shoot till you see the whites of their eyes. No, the expression is, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and you can keep away like a bunch of really good doctors with these apples. But, for a grocery store that is expensive, you also see a lot of, like, weird people there. And every time I give you a grocery store anecdote, people are like, that's not weird. No, it's weird. If you saw it in public, you would be like, something's not right with this situation. By the way, what is happening? Why is Kane so bad? Why am I so bad? Please explode. Please? What, the enemies are did they hotfix? Oh, I knew it! I knew it! Oh my god! Let's try this again. Blue cap. At least it's a DPS improvement early. So as you can see, I'm back on my BS. Either way. Oh, metal plate. It's okay. Block some damage. And we have a tinted rock there. It's always like, well, it's not weird to comparison shop the can of beans to look at the nutritional information on a 8-ounce can of black beans when every single one has exactly the same nutrition except the one that quite clearly says no sodium added. Anyway, the point is, we were at the grocery store last night. It was a Whole Foods, you know? Spend our time in that grocery store. When we usually go to the hot bar area, get dinner, you know, to bring home. And then we do our normal grocery shopping. Have to interface with people at the deli and prepared food section and be like, hey, can I get 100 grams of this? Hey, can I get 6 of those cabbage rolls, etc., etc. When we entered, we were cohorts with several people that had been in the parking lot with us, including one older gentleman wearing a Tilly hat. I don't know how to describe. It's a bucket hat, a Gucci bucket, as Dan would call it, but it wasn't Gucci. Not that that matters, because obviously you can afford it. He's buying $100 apples. We started, as one does in the grocery store, at the produce section together. You know, picked out some onions, carrots, smelled the plums, decided, these plums don't seem like it's worth purchasing right now. When, ooh, there's a sale on cubed pineapple, and then I looked at the pineapple and I said, that pineapple's not even yellow, no wonder it's on sale. Anyway, we did all of our grocery shopping, took like 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Looped back around to the produce section, Mr. Buckethat's still there. What's he doing? That's a fantastic question I don't deign to know the answer to. I have no idea. Figured it was worth a shot. The gist of this story is that this man, at 9:30 p.m., spent 30 minutes in the produce section alone, buying vegetables, fruits. I'm not saying it's not important, you know. You gotta Especially if you're looking at recipes or something in the grocery store, I suppose. You're always going to take a little bit longer and be like, oh, I accidentally bought a sweet onion when I should have gotten just a regular old yellow onion. You get the idea. But, I mean, this dude is going to be on like a 2.5 hour long grocery trip if he keeps that up. I mean, I don't want to be super reductive, but like when you're buying vegetables, it's a pretty easy process, you know? At some point in your life, you just get an idea of what the ideal, or at least the ideal for you, carrot looks like, you know, what the ideal piece of ginger looks like, and then you're done. But for some reason, I don't know, man, she, or he was like being very, very particular about the produce. And in the meantime, by the way, you might say that's his constitutional right, and you would be right. Who am I to tell him he can't do that? All I'm going to say is that over the course of his time there, the dude picked up about 75 bunches of kale. If he's sick, next time I get sick, I'm going to call up... I don't know where he got the bucket hat, but I'm going to call up every manufacturer of bucket hat, and I'm going to be like, hey, do you know this guy? And they're going to be like, yeah, he stood in our store for 8 hours trying to pick out a hat. And I'll be like, okay, I got to get him in touch with the CDC. He's patient zero for some kind of new plague of indecisiveness. I can't believe we're 11 minutes in. We finally got our first deal with the devil. A little embarrassing, but that's okay. This floor, I mean, I'm happy with the tiers upgrade. Not so happy with much else. But, pay to win is going to... I mean, booger tiers are awesome. Pay to win is going to allow us to never have to spend keys. So it's worth a couple of items in and of itself. We are going to buy this just to try to preserve our bone heart, and then we'll move on here. And that's basically, that's my anecdote for yesterday. That, and I watched like 2 episodes of Intervention. And I still, Kate was like, why do you like watching that show? I don't know, I've graduated from like, you know, these true crime documentaries, or maybe that was like my gateway drug. And dude, oh, new season of Serial came out of nowhere. Very eager to listen to 6 minutes every night of that new season, fall asleep, and then have no idea what's going on, just like I did with the previous 2 seasons. But anyway, so now I watch like these really heartbreaking documentaries of addiction. Like I've been watching this show on Netflix called Drugs Inc. And Drugs Inc. is not heartbreaking necessarily. It's more like it makes you sad for society, because every single episode focuses on a city in... typically in North America. Like, there's an episode on Vancouver. I'm not going to say they're all American, you know? It's, we obviously got our own problems up here, particularly with opiates. But anyway, the point is, they'll go through, like, the underground drug culture of a city. And I always wonder, because they get these people that are, like, supposedly high up. And, you know, I don't know a lot about the criminal underworld, but I have played most of the Grand Theft Auto games, so I'd consider myself to have my finger, to some extent, on the pulse of, you know, what goes on in a city's underbelly. Hold on, let me see what we got here. Gift is kind of interesting for a deal with the devil. Get a free deal with the devil. I think I'll probably consider that. Or deal with the angel, for that matter, because of the way that our first deal with the devil didn't give us precedent, but... they get these people that are like, yo, I run these streets, and they're wearing like a luchador mask, and I'm like, dude, if you're really running the streets and you're making like 15 grand a day or something like that, like you claim to, why on earth are you giving your time to a documentary? Like, you want to like really enrich the lives of the Netflix viewers at home and be like, you know, I think I'm doing a public service by teaching the, you know, the nation's youth about how to buy heroin in Philadelphia. Like, I just don't understand, like, if you were really crushing it. So, there's one of 2 things. One, I guess, is that it's like, I don't know, they want the attention, which I guess sort of makes sense, you know? And then the other one would be that they're not actually high up and they're just, like, pretending. I guess the third one would be that the whole show is fake and they're actors, but I don't know. They'd have to be really, they would be method actors, if you know what I mean. So, that's more of, like, a broad societal view of, like, you know, catastrophic and crippling drug addiction spreading across the nation. He said the word wrong. Then Intervention is like one person struggling from the effects of addiction. And excuse me, GeForce Ready Game Driver. No, I don't want to install Cheat Engine right now. I can win for real. No, I don't want to give you my mom's credit card number to put it on easy mode. I'm a real gamer. It's something I want to be clear. When I watched Hoarders, I watched it in a very mean-spirited way. Now there is, for anyone on, you're supposed to get the gift. We can still get it, I guess. Use it next floor. It's not a huge loss, but we should have done it right there. Give me a moment here. Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything to work with it yet, but I think I'll still take it. So we got car battery and 9-volt. Now we just need a good spacebar item. But what I was going to say is I used to watch Hoarders, and it was a mean-spirited viewing experience for me. Now, don't act like you've never done this. I haven't done this in 8 years, or something along those lines, to the day. We got lucky pennies. Hold on. Let me see what we got in the shop. Speed and range just does not seem worth it to me right now. I mean, obviously neither does the clicker, but I think we'll start with combat and see how it goes. Hopefully not lose our bone heart. Booger tears are helping out a lot there. But, you know, of course, when you watch Hoarders, you know, a show where people basically suffer from a variant of obsessive compulsive disorder and, you know, collect meaningless garbage, basically leading to their house being so cluttered that the piles of garbage could fall on them and kill them. It's very sad. You always watch it with a hint of melancholy, where you're like, man, this is like, you know, it's terrible. Obviously, I'm so, like, grateful that I don't have this, and to the best of my knowledge, nobody really in my life has it. But there was kind of like there's a mean-spirited bend to it when I watched it when I was younger. It was like, you know, on the one hand, this is very sad. On the other hand, come on, lady, you don't need those potato chip wrappers. Obviously, those are unnecessary. I've learned, you know, as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit more sensitive, and I understand, you know, on an intellectual level, she has to know that those potato chip wrappers are not worth anything, but simultaneously, you know, she feels a compulsion irrationally to hold on to them, so it's more, my bone heart, is still alive. Anyway, I do not watch Intervention in a mean-spirited way, because this is like sad stories, man. People who are like, you know, they've thrown their lives away. Basically, they're not even human beings anymore. They're like organic machines, just singularly focused on getting access to their narcotic of choice. But for whatever reason, it's still like so fascinating. And sometimes they do something that's a little funny, but you're not supposed to laugh at it. Tarot cloth. Hierophant. That's huge. Thank you so much. I suppose we could have looked for blank card. I'm gonna check this room real quick, because we are real close to getting Guppy, and by real close I mean we're 1/3 of the way there. Like, there was the episode I watched last night. It's from season 400, which is really just, it's more sad than anything else that it's a show that's been on for so long. But and this lady, she had suffered trauma in her life, no question. She had been, or she still was at the time of the filming, addicted to basically any drug she could get her hands on. But there were some moments where, I mean, there was some levity. Like, for example, she had been drinking and she was trying to get into her car to drive home, and her family was like, you can't do that. And then she called her dad a little b, but she said the full 5-letter word. And I was like, man, on the one hand, it's obviously horrible that, you know, the drug is clouding your brain so much, and you're like really risking your health and the health of other people. And it's sad that you are in a position right now where you don't care about your own well-being or the well-being of others, and you're just willing to throw your life away, you know, to drive to the store. Secondarily, you did just call your dad, like, you basically question your own dad's testosterone. I don't care what context the situation is in. That's a darkly comic moment. I can't even... That's like when... if your friend in high school called a teacher a bitch, and everyone went like it just sucked all the oxygen out of the room. It was like that. Anyway, he took it rather well. Which I guess you have to at that point. Just something about... I don't know, man. I'm into these shows right now for some reason. I am like, if you're wondering what's ruining modern TV, it's not me. I'm the second order ruination. I'm not watching all the trashy reality shows that are, you know, leading to every single network having its own version of, like, you know, TMZ, Big Brother, Survivor, Who Wants to Marry, television celebrity, etc., etc. But I am definitely the guy who's watching every single show that takes place in a prison and being like, man, this is it exploitative? Like, yeah, but I pay for cable, so, you know, we're both being exploited, really. I mean, you're in jail in a system that won't let you get out of the cycle, and I'm paying $60 a month, you know, basically just out of habit until Game of Thrones comes back. So who's the real loser here? It's probably me, but not for the reason I would have posited. Anyway, don't shoot me, please, sir. We love lump of coal. Demon Baby for free, or for 15 cents. It's probably just about value. Not a particularly strong pickup, but not terrible. This run is just... It's the base damage that's getting me down right now. You know, lump of coal's helpful. We've gotten some tiers upgrades. Tarot cloth is amazing if we can get two of diamonds, for example. We got a little time left over before things get, you know, truly dangerous here. Magic Mush, I mean, it basically doubles our damage, so that solves a lot of our remaining problems. And then, to be honest with you, especially with Celtic Cross, dude, I will absolutely play this Demon Judgment. And Two of Spades is irrelevant, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. I just realized we could totally open golden chests. You'll have to forgive me for that one. That's like a... It's something we've unlocked as Kane and forgotten about. You know, my Isaac memory is about like 6 weeks long. So we've been working on this new save file for a little while here. Things like this are wont to happen. The Magician's okay. At least it's a usable card. Balls of Steel is also fine. Really hoping for full health on that one, but that's fine. Genuine. Pardon me. Genuinely fine. So now... Oh, we dropped the paperclip! You fool. I don't know, maybe Rosary Bead is better, maybe it's worse. For now, though, Magic Mush. Huge pickup. I don't know, you know, there's... One of my favorite movies is the 2004, you know, mature road trip film from Alexander Payne known as Sideways, starring Thomas Hayden Church, Victoria Madsen. Help. Sandra Oh, Paul Giamatti, etc., etc. Maybe you've heard of it. It was in all the periodicals. Anyway, there's a great moment at the start of that movie where, you know, Paul Giamatti is hanging out with, like, his ex-wife, because his ex-wife is part of his social circle still. And, or maybe, I think it's his ex-wife, anyway. And one of her, like, extended family members is like, I don't understand why you would ever read fiction when there's so many amazingly compelling non-fiction stories out there. And everybody is supposed to go like, man, what a pretentious blowhard. And I've realized that basically I have become that guy in terms of my media preferences. I would never say it in such a pretentious fashion. But, you know, for the most part, when people are like, hey, have you watched fiction show? I'm like, why would I watch fiction show when there's so much real drama involved in the in the regular world? And then, of course, I make an exception for a television program with zombies and dragons. So you can try to puzzle out for yourself where I stand on the pretentiousness spectrum. I haven't really figured it out for myself either. You know, it's like on the one hand, one of my favorite movies is Sideways, and on the other hand, another one of my favorite movies is Crank 2 High Voltage, so... Am I dumb pretending to be smart or smart pretending to be dumb? I haven't really figured out where I stand yet. Perhaps by the end of the Isaac series. You know, I learned something about myself in all these episodes as well. The Isaac series forces me to be very honest with myself because the only thing I fear more than, like, you know, revealing negative things about my personality is dead air. So, like, sometimes I come up with something and I'm like, dude, if I say this, it's gonna make me reflect in a slightly negative light. But if I don't say it, I'm gonna be silent for like 45 seconds. So I say it. And you know, it's like a wound. You know, you get that negativity out into the open so it can heal instead of festering. And plus, you know, hopefully it's entertaining. I think because we have a decent amount of HP, I'm going to take both of these, but obviously I'm a little worried about our red heart standing right now. I will take champion belts, and I mean the D20 is real good. And it's 2 of spades, right? Yeah, so irrelevant, but
spades.
The D20, I don't know if, and I did see the tinted rock there, but there's nothing we can do. I don't know if we can use this as effectively as we might like to, but we really are at the point now where we'd like to get, we'd like to get to, if not 99 cents, as much money as possible. Tech 2 is not a good choice, in my opinion. No enemies, please. I just have to say, like, I know I complain more than I used to about Isaac. It's just, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, I guess the more comfortable you get with the game, the more you find things that are negative. I so disagree with the value proposition of, like, hey, if you step on a button, there's like a 25% chance you get a consumable and a 75% chance you fight a couple of bad enemies. And the obvious, like, counter to that is just, like, stop stepping on the button. But, like, you know, I'm trying to help. I think too many people take criticism, especially of video games, defensively, and they're like, well, oh, the game is too hard for me and I'm not having fun anymore. I'm a baby. It's not really like that, you know. It's like, it's a leisure activity. So, you know, I think there's a place for constructively bad design in games. And of course, it's not even objectively bad design. It's just, you know, one man who's played way too much given his opinion. But so there, we've lost our bone heart, which is bad. Anyway, I deserve that for my unabashed negativity. What I meant to say is, hey y'all! It's your boy Northernlion back with another high-octane episode here of everybody's favorite game with no design woes, especially not Retrovision. The meme pill gets me every time. Anyway, these are relatively minor, but you understand what I'm getting at, I assume. You know, it doesn't, if anything, it accentuates my love of the game. And it's a deep-held appreciation instead of just being like, hey, there's novelty. I'm like, you know, I love this game to the core, which is why I think I get so annoyed by its problems that, you know, in the whole scheme of things are probably relatively meager. It's like how you guys, you know, you love me so much that you leave comments like, hey, idiot, you dumb idiot face, why'd you do this, moron? And then I go, well, it's just because they actually think that I'm so smart that my dumbness is highlighted to a higher degree. Like, it's one of those things where it's like the closer you are, the quicker it hits you, you know? That's fine. We can use thing. Did not get a demon heart, I think. Honestly, neither of those are worth it. I do think we want that. I mean, obviously, like, my #1 priority is winning. It's not donating money. So, we're gonna, if we can donate 100 cents, or, you know, more, we'd like to. We are kind of here to get greedier mode. Not necessarily as soon as possible, but, like, you know, as expedited as possible so we're not doing too many, like, doubled up situations. We get 2 pills, right? Yes, we do. Or 3 pills? No, because one of them we were already holding. We'd prefer to have more bombs than keys, so that's nice. And maybe we'll just stack up some spirit hearts. Although, we could... I'm going to try this, even though I maybe shouldn't. Okay, fair trade. Although... I could use my bombs for rerolls next floor, which I probably want to. But I think we're going to D20 starting on the next floor. I'm not convinced about our chances of survival. I'm going to try... I mean, that's real tempting, admittedly, but... We're going to try to get to 99 cents. Or at least... Well, I don't know. It's tough, man. I'm very happy we're fighting a boss that only has 1 phase. Because, oh, that was pretty bad. The truth of the matter, at least right now, is like... We can probably just stack up booger tiers and be relatively okay. You know, if we just hide and don't get hit, the boss will eventually die to damage over time. But the, you know, the real negative side is everything else. Like, if we get hit twice at the outset of the fight, we're probably, like, a heavy favorite to lose. So we gotta play a strong game. No question about it. And I would say that, you know, deliberately losing a Demon Heart like a fool is probably not a strong way to play. But I'm super thankful, you know, we got a Thame. Doesn't always pay out. This time it's paid out, like, aggressively well. Okay, so the real thing we want here is golden chests. Because, wow, dim bulb and non-dim bulb. If possible, you typically want to come in here, grab a battery charge. Hold on, let me check this real quick. Alright. For 7 cents, dude, I think you gotta. We're looking for a battery charge so we can re-roll the golden chest after we pick it up. And this is an extreme use of our bombs. That's not battery. That's battery baby. Okay, so we buy this, and then there should be more. And then this is where things get interesting. So you crack this, you pick up everything, but the golden chest becomes another thing to re-roll. Now, I think we're going to re-roll both trinkets. The lovers. Because we want to keep the ability to open chests for free. Now, we should have probably gotten a battery charge before we did that, because we're losing our permanence here, but I think that was a pretty happy medium. You know, we got the halo. We have the battery charge in there as long as we don't deliberately re-roll the shop. We're in a really good spot. I think it's like a surprisingly tactical finish. Although it's a little bit self-inflating, but this is a smarter finish than my average run, you know? Usually by this point in a greed run, you just kind of got it sorted. We had to work a little bit harder on this one, but as of right now, that was very dumb. As of right now, we seem to be in a much better position. So we'll buy this. Come down here. Buy this. Okay. What do you want to re-roll here? It's a great question. I don't have any answer to it. We don't really need the money at this point, so we'll go for the re-roll. And we're looking for like a 2 of diamonds, maybe. Okay, 2 of spades takes us to 32 keys. It's a little much. I think we're just actually done now. So we're gonna have like 5 cents to donate. Not a strong greed run. We probably could have committed to saving a little faster than this. That's the nice way to put it. We've been a little reckless with our finances. Not that we ever, like, got a substantial amount of them. And at least we're getting, like, some money here, but... And presumably some money for killing greed as well, and just ambiently picking some up on the fight, I hope. So the most important thing by far is just stacking as many booger tiers as you can. Over time, these are going to be what kills greed. Or at least, like, heavily contributes to the death of greed. Thank you. Combining, like, everything that we have right now with this bad trip pill is very hard to see how we lose this one. Now, that's a big change from where we were, you know, a couple of minutes ago, where I was like, I don't know, this seems like it might be nearly impossible, but I would dispute that claim now. I think we're in a great spot. I'm actually going to deliberately take damage, try to get as many demon hearts as possible, and I guess we'll do it again. And all the while, this dude's getting melted. Booger tiers, I'll say something controversial. It might actually be my favorite tier effect in terms of, like, the one I'm most excited to get. It's just really satisfying, you know, to see all the tiers that you've shot that have stuck to him, and then, you know, he's gradually taking more and more damage. If you got shielded tiers, they're even better, you know. It's a really smart addition to the game, in my opinion. I like booger tiers a lot. I know I'm getting hit, but I'm also, like, gleaning some more HP from the situation. But stop! But also you're dead. We have 4 cents. But we did unlock Evil Eye, a classic item that almost never works. Here you go, buddy. 4 cents. Don't spend it all in one place. And we're out. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. I'm still great. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!